Dangal English Wrestling Competition is a 2016 Indian Hindi language biographical sports drama film directed by Nitesh Tiwari, produced by Walt Disney Pictures, Aamir Khan Productions and UTV Motion Pictures. It stars Aamir Khan as Mahavar Singh Phagate, an amateur wrestler, who trains his daughters Geeta Phagate and Babita Kumari to be world-class wrestlers, both of who go on to win medals at the 2010 Commonwealth Games. Fatima San Ashik and Sanya Malhotra play the older selves of the sisters while Sakshi Tanwar play their mother and Apar Shakti Khurana, their cousin. The development of the film began in early 2013 when Tiwari began writing the screenplay before signing Khan for the film. Set primarily in the Indian state of Haryana, principal photography commenced in September 2015 in the neighboring Punjab. Satyajit Pant served as the cinematographer and Balu Saluja as the editor. Pritam scored the film's background music and for its soundtrack, lyrics for which were written by Amitabh Bhattacharya. Kripa Shankar Bishnoi, a coach with the Indian women's wrestling team, trained Khan and the cast for the wrestling sequences. After a North America premiere on the 21st of December 2016, Dangal was released worldwide on the 23rd of December, opening to positive response with critics mostly praising the honest portrayal of a real-life story and Khan's performance. It was also screened at the Beijing International Film Festival in April 2017. At the 62nd Filmfare Awards, it won 4 awards: Best Film, Best Director, Tiwari, Best Actor, Khan, and Best Action, Shyam. The film performed equally well commercially and as of the 21st of May, has collected over 1,500 rupees crore, standing as the second highest grossing Indian film, close to half of which was earned in China, where has emerged as one of the top 50 highest grossers ever. Plot edit Mahavar Singh Phagate, Khan, an amateur wrestler in Balalai, a village in Haryana, was forced by his father to give up the sport in order to obtain gainful employment. Dejected on not having won a medal for his country, he vows that his son will. Disappointed upon having 4 daughters, he gives up the dream. But when his older daughters, Geeta and Babita, come home after beating up 2 boys one day in response to derogatory comments, he realizes their potential to become wrestlers and begins coaching them. His methods seem harsh, including grueling early morning workouts and short haircuts to avoid lice. Despite facing backlash from the villagers, he goes ahead with them. Initially, the girls resent their father for his treatment but soon realize that he wants them to have a good future and not grow up to be stereotypical housewives. Motivated, they willingly participate in his coaching. Mahavar takes the girls to wrestling tournaments where they wrestle boys and defeat them, much to everyone's utter surprise. Unable to afford wrestling mats, he now uses 2 layers of mattresses in its place and trains them in freestyle wrestling to prepare them for competitive events. Geeta goes on to win the junior championships at the state and national level, and subsequently the national senior championship, before heading to a national sports academy, an institute in Patiala to train for the forthcoming Commonwealth Games. Once there, Geeta makes friends and begins to disregard the rigor and discipline she has been brought up with. She regularly watches television, eats street food, and grows her hair longer. Also, her coach's training methods and wrestling techniques differ significantly from her father's and that she now believes are superior. Demonstrating them on a visit home, she defeats her aging and visibly exhausted father in a ferocious bout that ensues on his countering of her techniques. Babita tells an unrepentant Geeta that she shouldn't forget their father's techniques and reminds her that she owes all success to him. Winning the senior national championships herself, Babita follows Geeta to the academy. Geeta, however, finds herself losing every match at the international level, also losing the singular focus she initially had. Subsequently, her coach coaxes her to compete in the 51 kilograms weight class, changing from 55 kg. Frustrated, and persuaded by Babita, she tearfully makes peace with her father, who comes to Patiala with his nephew, their former sparring partner, and begins coaching them secretly, using the same methods as when they were younger. Learning about this, and furious with Mahavir's interference, the coach wants the girls expelled, but a deal is struck to allow them to continue as long as Mahavar does not enter the academy or train them elsewhere. Determined to continue assisting his daughters, Mahavar obtains tapes of Geeta's previous unsuccessful bouts and coaches her by pointing out her errors over the phone. At the games, competing in the 55 kilograms class, Geeta eases her way into the final. During the bouts leading up to it, Mahavar constantly contradicts her coach's instructions while sitting in the audience, which she follows while disregarding the latter. Just before the gold medal bout, the jealous coach conspires to lock Mahavar in a closet away from the arena. Owing to his absence, Geeta lags behind, managing to win the first session while losing the second, trailing 1-4 in the final session. A desperate move from her makes it 1-5. With 12 seconds left, she recalls her father talking about a 5-pointer suplex back maneuver that, despite being difficult, was not impossible to apply. Geeta executes it on her opponent in the final 3 seconds, leading to a score of 6-5 in her favor, winning the session, and the bout 2-1. In the process, she becomes the first Indian female wrestler to win gold at the Games. Mahavar returns just in time to embrace his daughters, frustrating the coach's hopes of obtaining credit before the news media. The end credits reveal that Babita won a silver medal at the Games, in the 51 kilograms class, and that Geeta became the first Indian female wrestler to qualify for the Olympics, with Mahavir's efforts inspiring dozens of Indian women to take to wrestling. Casted at Aamir Khan as Mahavar Singh Phagate, Sakshi Tanwar as Daya Shobha Kaur, wife of Mahavar Singh Phagate, Fatima San Ashake as Geeta Phagate, daughter of Mahavar Singh Phagate, Zahira Wasim as young Geeta, Sanya Malhotra as Babita Kumari, daughter of Mahavar Singh Phagate, Sahani Bhatnagar as young Babita, Apar Shakti Khurana as Omkara, Ritvik Sahor as young Omkara, Vivan Bhatena as Mahavir's colleague and a state-level champion, Kaustubh Payal as male fighter number 2, Girish Kulkarni as coach Pramod Kadam, Rohit Shankarwar, Meenu Prajapati as Geeta's best friend in NSA camp, production edit development edit In 2012, Divya Rao, a member of Disney's creative team, read a newspaper article about Mahavar Singh Phagate, who trained his daughters to become world champions. She thought this would make for a great film, and spoke about this to Siddharth Roy Kapoor and other Disney personnel. Disney approached Nitesh Tiwari to write and direct the story. Tiwari met Phagate and his daughters, who instantly agreed to tell the story. Tiwari worked on the screenplay for close to a year before going to Ronnie Screwvala, the CEO of UTV Motion Pictures, and Kapoor with the final script, while suggesting that Aamir Khan play Phagate, who agreed. In 2013, Kapoor and Tiwari went to Khan with the story, and Khan loved it in its first narration. Khan had just finished Doom 3 and had begun shooting for PK. He wanted to do the film after 5 to 10 years when he would turn 60, because the role demanded him to be 55 and he was still doing younger roles. But the story remained in his mind, and a few months later, he called up Tiwari and asked him to narrate the script once again. In 2014, after the release of PK, Aamir Khan announced that he would play the role of a wrestler in his next film titled Dangal, directed by Nitesh Tiwari, a cinematographic biography of the former wrestler Mahavar Singh Phagate. It would be produced by Khan himself and Disney's India. Khan said to reporters, "Nitesh has written a wonderful story. The topic is very important, it's very dramatic. It highlights the discrimination that is meted out to the girl child in India. The best part is that he has done it in a very entertaining manner. The heart of the story is emotional, but it also has a lot of humor. Raju Hirani has this unique way to tell a story where he says something socially very relevant, but he tells his story in a very entertaining manner. Similarly, Nitesh has written a very entertaining, lovely script. The dialogues are very entertaining. Each time I listen to the dialogues, I laugh a lot. I cry as well as laugh." In March 2015, junior Indian women's wrestling team coach Kripa Shankar Patel Bishnoi was approached by Aamir Khan Productions to train Khan and the entire crew of Dangal. Bishnoi said about the film in a Hindustan Times interview, "Very few Indians encourage women for wrestling, especially because of the uniform. This film will change that perception too. People would hopefully want to see their daughters taking up wrestling as a sport." Khan lost some weight and took Haryanva lessons and dialect training for the film. He played 2 distinct roles in the film, the 60-year-old wrestler Mahavar Singh Phagate, and the 20-year-old version of Phagate. Khan reportedly gained 30 kilograms and weighs 98 kilograms to play the role of the older Phagate, then lost the weight to play the younger role in Dangal. Casting at In March 2015, Taapsee Pannu, Deeksha Seth and Akshara Hassan were being considered for the roles of Khan's on-screen daughters. In April 2015, Fatima San Ashake and Sanya Malhotra were cast as the daughters, who hailed from the Jat community of Balalai village of Bhiwani, Haryana. Geeta Phagate had participated in the London Olympics in 2012. Babita won gold in 2014 Commonwealth Games in Glasgow. In June 2015, child actors Zahira Wasim, from Kashmir, and Sahani Bhatnagar, from Delhi, were roped in for Dangal. Ayushman Khurrana's brother Apar Shakti Khurrana was also cast. Mukesh Chabra Chopra was the casting director of Dangal. Vikram Singh was recruited to play the role of the villain. Aamir Khan's nephew Pablo, son of Mansoor Khan, was the film's assistant director. Malika Sherwood auditioned for a role. In August 2015, Rajkumar Rao, who previously worked with Aamir Khan in Talash, was approached for an important role in Dangal. Finally, after auditioning 70 actresses for the role, Sakshi Tanwar was brought on as Daya Kaur, the wife of Mahavar Singh Phagate. Ananya was chosen to play Sangeeta, the youngest daughter of Mahavar Phagate. In October 2015, Vivan Bhatena was selected to play a negative role in the film. In an interview in January 2017, Divya Rao stated, "If Aamir Khan have declined the role, the only other choices would have been Mohan Lal and Kamal Hassan." Filming date The shooting schedule of Dangal began on the 1st of September 2015. The villages of Ludhiana were given a Haryanva transformation. The shooting took place in the villages of Gujarwal, Narangwal, Kila Raipur, Dango and Leal in Punjab and Haryana. Interestingly, the village of Dango, which is in the Pakawal Tehsil in Ludhiana, is veteran actor Dharmendra's ancestral village. From September 2015 to December 2015, Aamir Khan gained 9 fat, weighing around 98 kilograms for Dangal, and from January 2016 to April 2016, he regained the shape that he had opted for in Doom 3 and will hear the script for next future films, halting shooting of Dangal for said period. The first scene was taken on the 21st of September 2015 in Ludhiana with the presences of Mahavar Singh Phagate and his both daughters Geeta Phagate, Babita Kumari. On the 14th of November 2015, while shooting in Ludhiana, Khan suffered minor injuries resulting in muscle spasms in his back. On November 20, 2015, Khan collapsed after sustaining a shoulder injury on the set. After suffering an injury, Aamir Khan resumes shooting in Pune on the 9th of December 2015. The team filmed in and around stadiums at the Shri Shiv Chhatrapati Sports Complex in Pune. At the time, the complex hosted the 2015 Rollerball World Cup, and athletes of the Netherlands national rollerball team and Slovenia women's national rollerball team were recruited to play background athletes in the film. The team also shot some portions of the film in Symbiosis International University, Pune. On the 19th of January 2016, Khan and the entire crew of the film shot in Delhi, at Talkatore Stadium, to film wrestling sequences. The crew then moved to Thiagaraj Stadium to shoot sequences of Commonwealth Games and National Games. The first schedule of shooting was also done in schools and in Dango village, located in Pakawal Tehsil in Ludhiana. The second schedule of the film started on the 16th of June 2016 at the Akada Leal near Tusa village, in Ludhiana district. It is one of the largest villages in Punjab, India. Khan said, "When I came to Ludhiana, I was very fat. At that time, we shot for the scenes where Mahavar has become old. 85% of the film is about his old look only. Now we are shooting for the portion when Mahavar was young." With the film being set in multiple decades, the cinematographer Satyajit Pand and colorist Ashir Wadhadkar experimented with a number of tests for skin tones and costumes during the pre-production stage. Natural light was majorly employed in the film. To portray the 1980s, the sources were kept white hot and the skin tones yellow warm for the day sequences, and a consistent bulb warm tone was maintained for the night sequences, with varying color temperatures in the process of filming over an entire day starting early mornings till late evenings. Visual effects plates were used and digital intermediate process employed. Soundtrack The film's music is composed by Pritam. Lyrics are penned by Amitabh Bhattacharya in Hindi, and Rajesh Malaravanan in Tamil. It was reported that Daler Mehndi has sung a song in the movie. Hindi track listed at Tamil track listed at Telugu track listed at release at Dangal was released in the United States on the 21st of December 2016 and worldwide on the 23rd of December 2016. The film was shown on an estimated 4,300 screens in India and 1,000 screens internationally. It was also released in Tamil and Telugu dubbed versions as Yudam. It was declared tax-free in 6 Indian states, Uttar Pradesh, Uttarakhand, Haryana, Chhattisgarh, Delhi and Madhya Pradesh, to promote Beti Bachao, Beti Padhao, a government of India's social campaign aiming to reduce the selective abortion of females, to protect girls, and to educate them. Dangal was screened at the 7th Beijing International Film Festival, the first Indian film to be screened the festival, in the non-competing panorama section in April 2017 as Shui Jao Baba, Let's Wrestle, Father, and received a standing ovation. It released theatrically on the 5th of May in 9,000 screens, the widest ever release for an Indian film in in any territory, and opened to overwhelming response from critics and audiences alike. However, the film was trimmed by 20 minutes to be in line with what the Chinese are used to. Critical reception edit Review aggregator website Rotten Tomatoes reports that the film holds an 83 approval rating, based on 6 reviews, with an average score of 7.3/10. On the Chinese website Douban, it maintains a rating of 9.2/10 upon evaluation of over 200,000 people. Meena Iyer of the Times of India called Dangal inspiring and entertaining and awarded a 4.5 out of 5-star rating. She commended the writing of being for tongue-in-cheek quality, peppered with humor and several poignant father-daughter emotions. She added, "The film is bound to inspire more women to seriously consider kushti as a sport," concluded writing that the film had an earthy soundtrack. Rohit Vats of Hindustan Times gave the film a 4 out of 5-star rating and called it Aamir Khan's best performance till date. Writing praises of the acting performances, she felt the film could have been made more polished than required. Sable Chatterjee of NDTV rated the film 4/5 and calling it a hugely entertaining sporting saga, pointed out that unlike other Bollywood films, Dangal does not go for broke in terms of melodramatic flourish and that it refrains from demonstrative chest thumping and flag waving. He felt the film blended humor with intensity, and intimacy with spectacle, to perfection. Ananya Bhattacharya of India Today rated 4/5 stars, saying Dangal is a crowd pleaser. It has stellar performances and an engaging storytelling. She added, music is used as a narrating device, and the songs don't affect the pace. Rohit Bhatnagar of Deccan Chronicle awarded full 5 stars, saying Dangal is the best feast on this Christmas and one can't deny that the film is the best one of 2016. Raja Sen and Sukanya Verma of Rediff.com respectively rated 4.5, 5 and 4/5 stars, saying Dangal teaches us where rainbows lie in wrestling. Watch this film for the way it puts the her in hero, and Tiwari invests a great deal of time and energy in telling the magnificent real-life tale of the Fogats. Aniruddha Gua of mensxp.com awarded 4/5 stars, and praised the film craft of the wrestling scenes in particular. The wrestling matches are beautifully choreographed and shot. Dangal has moments of greatness and the aura of a classic, even though its lofty ambitions aren't always matched with the consistency demanded from a true epic. Yet, there's enough craftiness packed in its 160-minute runtime to win you over. Mike McCahill of The Guardian rated 3/5 stars and said, "Very solid, very sound entertainment, with thumpingly good songs." Ben Kenigsberg of The New York Times commented that the film is formulaic as sports films go, but that the movie benefits from the amount of time it devotes to wrestling strategy. Nandini Ramnath of Scroll.in in giving her verdict on the film says that, Dangal is a chronicle of the industriousness, perseverance and personal sacrifice that produce sporting champions, but it is above all a tribute to obsession. Every age produces the cinema it deserves, and with its insistence on absolute obedience to an authoritarian figure, Dangal is inadvertently a reflection of our times. Daddy truly does know best, and Dangal harbors no doubt whatsoever that his daughters are wise not to question him. Bharadwaj Rangan of The Hindu noted in his personal blog that Aamir is essentially playing an anti-hero, a madman. It's strange that a man who recognizes the unfairness of not being granted leave to train his daughter is unable to see that he's doing what other men around him are doing. He's marrying his daughter off, at a very young age, to a sport. Aamir brings out these contradictions beautifully. This is one of his finest performances. Azad Essa, a journalist with Al Jazeera South Africa and co-founder of the Daily Vox, observed that given the influence of Bollywood to tweak with the national imagination, the film is set to stir a national discussion in India. The elevation of women is still a manifestation of an unfulfilled male dream. It is the male coach who emerges as the true hero, and not the women. Tanyal Thacker of TheWire.in praises the movie for a brilliant first half, that, Dangal cares about the world it's set in, achieving much by trying little. Mahavar training her daughters, are more about how life is lived, as opposed to how it should be, how one lack of choice can be better than the other. There's very little sermonizing here, and as a result, the first half of Dangal with its sharp writing, impressive acting, smart editing and cinematography, makes for a satisfying watch. But he also criticizes the movie for a repetitive and bloated second half. The film then devotes a substantial amount of runtime in showing how Mahavar was right all along. Dangal's fixated on convincing us that Mahavar can never be wrong, that the problem is always with Geeta. It's a strange implication, underscored in scene after scene, that Geeta is nothing without her father, a man. Box office seated Dangal grossed 716 rupees crore after its initial run. It included 511 rupees crore in India and 205 rupees crore overseas. After it collected a net of 345 rupees crore over its third weekend from release, it beat the record held by PK for the highest grossing Indian Indian film. Dangal collected 29 rupees and 80 paise crore on its opening day of release in India, and recorded as the second highest non-holiday opening after Doom 3. On its second day, the film collected 348 million rupees, $5.4 million, and on the third day collections were 424 million rupees, $6.6 million, taking the first weekend collections to 1.07 billion rupees, $17 million. On the 9th of January 2017, Dangal became the highest-grossing Indian film domestically, beating Aamir Khan's previous film PK. It grossed a total of $80 million, 512 rupees crore, in all languages in India. Deadline.com reported that Dangal would open in 331 North American screens, the hitherto highest for a Bollywood film, on the 21st of December 2016. Releasing in 279 theaters in the United States, it collected $282,280 and $42,816 from 24 theaters in Canada on the first day. An overall occupancy of 65% was reported. It grossed $12.4 million in North America, becoming the highest-grossing Indian film there, to be surpassed only months later by Bahubali 2. The conclusion: Dangal was released in 95 screens across the Gulf countries and was last reported to have collected 59 rupees and 4 paise crore from the region. It also received the highest opening in Australia for a Bollywood film, 41 screens, and collected $528,000 in its first weekend, opening at second spot, behind Rogue One. Having collected over 12 rupees and 65 paise crore in the country, it became the highest-grossing Indian film there. It collected $460,000, 2 rupees and 98 paise crore, in New Zealand and was last reported to have collected $4 million, 25 rupees and 78 paise crore, in the UK. Dangal emerged as highest-grossing Bollywood film of all time in international markets, grossing around $150 million, after its second phase of release in overseas. Upon theatrical release in Taiwan, Dangal earned over $3 million and emerged as the #1 film there, also becoming the highest-grossing Indian film in the region. In China, it became the highest-grossing Indian film, after grossing $14.5 million in just 4 days from theatrical release. The collections totaled to 300 rupees crore at the end of day 9 from release, taking the overall collections past 1,000 rupees crore, becoming only the second Indian film to reach the mark. In its second week, it emerged as the #1 film in the country, outselling Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 by $15 million according to China's film ticketing portal Maoyan, with collections totaling to over $84 million, 544 rupees crore, by the end of 15 days. In the process, it beat the record held by the 2016 Japanese film Your Name for the highest-grossing foreign-language non-Hollywood film in China. It held the #1 position for the second consecutive week, taking the overall collections past 1,500 rupees crore. Commercial analysis said it ===. Despite the hype created by the film prior to its release, it was not expected to perform very well on 2 accounts. Aamir Khan's comment in November 2015 during the ongoing intolerance debate in India had sparked outrage and backlash from certain sections of people. Despite his clarification that the statement made was taken out of context and publicized, the criticism, primarily on social media, continued to the extent that prior to the film's release, campaigns calling for boycotting the film began, on ground that Khan was anti-national. Following the exercise, it was reported that business fell by 60% and that 700 theaters even shut, including a few that, deciding not to renew their licenses, converted into wedding halls. The earnings of films Dear Zindagi, Kahani 2, Durga Rani Singh and Bafikri that were released around this time were significantly affected, and their corresponding producers had handed out limited prints to single-screen theaters, to keep losses at a minimum. However, that neither of the two affected the performance of Dangal was evident in that the online ticketing platform Book My Show hit its fastest 1 million tickets booked before the release. An average occupancy of over 60% was reported on the first few days in multiplexes. The film performed well on single-screen theaters as well, that saw a surge, after 2 consecutive years of fall in business accentuated further by the demonetization exercise. The film proved to be an end to the dry spell to cinemas across India. On the 25th of December, its third day from release, it earned 42 rupees and 35 paise crore in India, setting a record for the highest ever single-day earning. After strong performance over its first 2 weeks, it emerged as the highest-grossing Indian film, beating PK over its third weekend. Dangal performed particularly well in China. This was attributed partly to Khan's popularity in China owing to the success of his previous films Three Idiots, 2009, and PK, 2014. There, also, it was reported, the audiences could relate to the underlying social theme of Dangal, in that, it portrayed the success story of sisters in the backdrop of a patriarchal and gender inequal society, much like the conditions inherent in China. On the day of its release, the 5th of May 2017, it had a screen share of 13.3% with 9,000 screens, much lower than Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, 43.9%, the number one film for the previous week. On its fourth day, the first Monday, it rose to 17.7%, and a occupancy rate of over 33% was reported, as against a highest of 24.7% for Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. Immediately after, aided by word-of-mouth publicity, people reportedly thronged the theaters, and screenings were increased to 35,000 on the second Saturday and 55,000 the following day. During the time, the film began trending in Sina Weibo. The run continued into its third week with 2.7 million tickets sold on the Sunday. Awards and nominations did see also edit Fagate Sisters, the sibling group upon which the film was based. List of Bollywood films of 2016. List of highest grossing Indian films. Notes edit references did external links edit Dangal at the Internet Movie Database, Dangal at Box Office Mojo, Dangal at Bollywood Hungama, Dangal at Rotten Tomatoes.